let's get straight to it. 3.5 billion people use social media today. That is almost 50% of the world's population. And you might wonder, why it's the most popular. It's because it's actually the cheapest to do. So today, we're going to talk about why you should be growing your presence on social media. Hey guys, it's EA Green, the owner of the Open Media Agency. And just like I said earlier, we're going to be talking about why is it so important for you to grow your presence on social media? Like you really need a reason. So let's start off by having story time. Once upon a time, about a decade and a half ago, social media just kind of popped up, right? No one really understood what social media was about, what it was meant to do, but we knew that it was available to us and we kind of just went onto the platform. So of course, when you look at social media, it was definitely meant for a way to be able to connect us all. But of course, the big, dark marketing machines figured out a way to be able to leverage it, to be able to monetize people. Now, when we're talking about monetizing people, something that you really want to keep in mind is that if you think about it, if the product is free, then that is not what they're selling. They're actually selling access to you, the individual. So that's why tons of marketers now go on there to try to influence people to make purchases. And you can watch some of the older videos that we've done where we kind of talk about how you have your customer go through those different pieces of the process. But when it comes to social media, it's very, very vital and important because everyone has one of these things in their back pocket and they're just messing around, scrolling away all day. So when it comes to growing your presence, you want to make sure that you understand how you can get people to actually stop scrolling, right? When you can actually get someone to stop scrolling, then you have a chance to lighten up their day just that little bit, either get that laugh or to provide that little token or that nugget of knowledge that they may not have known, so you can figure out why you are the best solution for the problem that they don't know they have yet. Everyone uses social media on a regular basis. There are tons of different facts about how many hours that we all spend throughout the day scrolling away on our phones. But do you know why it's so important for you to use social media in order to grow your presence? Right, so today what we're gonna do is we're gonna look into 3 different things that you can be doing across every single platform to grow your presence. And that is to engage with your audience, post regularly, and use hashtags in order to be found. Now let's imagine this. You have your tribe of people that you deal with on a regular basis, people that you already know, people that you may have already contacted with through work, through school, or through everyday life, right? So you are now in that little circle with those people. In order for you to grow your presence, you have to find ways to then get in contact with people outside of that circle and then to bring them into your circle so that they can now engage with your content. So the best way for you to do that is you all have those followers. Now find the people that are following them. Go on their page. If you see something that you actually like and if you actually want to engage in, actually go explore and like those things or save them or put them on your story or comment on those things. And of course, I know everyone understands the big algorithm and knows that all these things are out there that helps trigger these things. So you have to find ways that you can now provide that value to other people so they can then in return come back to your page. Before we move on, you might be sitting there and say, yo, EA, you made that to seem to be way too simple. But one of those things that you have to really kind of look at when you're engaging with other people and to bring them within your local village is that you have to make a lasting impression. All right, so the way that we kind of look at that is by the 12 rule. And that's by making an impression in terms of 12 feet away, 12 inches away, and the first 12 words that come out of your mouth. So let's put this in perspective. So say if you are on social media on Instagram and you find someone's story, right, that 12 foot away impression is, when you slide up and you see the little emojis that you can use, that's 12 feet away. When you make that fire emoji or that surprise emoji, that's something that's very high level to capture their attention because they know they'll get the notification. They're gonna want to see what happened and all that good stuff. 12 inches away is if you can actually now say, hey, you make a quick comment, right? And that's something that is oh, I like that picture. Something very surface level. For those first 12 words that come out of your mouth, if you can actually say something that actually causes them to continue the conversation, that will resonate with them way longer than you just doing a very surface level comment. And of course, you can do that in the DM, in their comments, anywhere. After you engage with the audience, you have to give that new person, that new member of your local village, you have to give them a reason to come back. So now we're gonna talk about why you should be posting regularly. Imagine your favorite TV show is coming back on. If they decided that they were gonna show one episode on Monday, the next episode next Saturday, then they're gonna stop and wait 2 weeks and do the next one, you would stop. You would hate it. You would like throw it away. So why would you do that to anyone else that might be subscribed to you or might be buying into the content that you're pushing for your business or for your brand? So when you actually post regularly, it actually trains your potential customer, your potential client, or a regular follower to understand that indirectly that I know that Open Media posts at 9 a.m., 12 p.m., or 3 p.m. on any given day. Right? Of course, there's some other reasons that we do that because of the time of the day or these other bits and pieces, but you have to make sure that you can train your potential client or customer to know when they can expect something from you. Again, you might be saying, you're making this sound way too easy, but why don't you look at it from this perspective? The best way for you to make sure that you have enough content for you to post regularly is to make sure you're using the most out of your time while making content. I know, it sounds like simple math, but imagine we're in here today, I'm making this video, got the team behind the camera, all that good stuff, right? We're spending a certain amount of like, say an hour to make this 10-minute video. Now, we're talking about all these different pieces of information that's vital, that might be funny, there might be some outtakes, all these different things. So once we actually edit those, we're not gonna throw away the things that we don't use for the final cut of the YouTube video. The best way for you to be able to make sure that you have enough content so that you can post regularly is to actually do more with the time that you're actually recording said content. So I want to introduce the idea of the micro content model. You may have seen an ad from us, or you may have heard me mention this before, but the micro content model is just when you take an hour worth of video and make as much possible bite-sized content as possible. So you might take an hour of video and make it into 15-second clips, 30-second, 60-second clips, or you might make them into mid-sized video that you place on YouTube that might be subject related. Or you might take the actual audio and make it into a podcast. Or you can transcript an actual video and make it into a blog post. So you see, we might take an hour to make this video here for you today. Right, I got my team over here and they're looking at me crazy. Why am I talking about them? But all that effort is something that we can use to be able to make weeks worth of content at a time. So that is something that you might want to look into about how you can make more content so you can post regularly. And of course, if you need help doing that, you can reach out to your people at the Open Media Agency. Up to this point, we talked about why it's important for you to engage with your audience and about why it's important for you to post regularly as well. The last one is to show why it's important for you to use hashtags. Hashtags are being used so that people can find your content, where using engagement is you actually going out to bring people back. But I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't really like hashtags.
Stick to the script.
All right, so when we talk about hashtags, it is so important because again, it's a way for people to actually go out and search for you. To give you a little history lesson, Twitter started using hashtags almost a decade ago when it first came out. There's a reason why Instagram and Facebook and all these other platforms started to use these tags or hashtags so that you can find this different type of content. Let me give you a little bit more context about why I hate hashtags. The main reason why I hate them is because either people don't use them enough or they abuse them and they use them way too much. I already know you guys seen hashtag TBT, hashtag Throwback Thursday, hashtag I'm woke, hashtag I'm late, all that good stuff. It's annoying and it's offensive. So here are some ways that you can use hashtags the right way. There's a ton of reasons why you should actually use hashtags, but here's just a few that we think are the most important. You might want to use hashtags so that you can use it for different promotional materials, such as a contest or a challenge that you might do for your brand. So if you told someone to actually make a post on their profile and they use the hashtag, it's a lot easier for you to find out who that potential winner is. Next, you want to make sure that you have a hashtag associated with your brand so that if anybody uses your product or your service and they now use that hashtag in their description, Now you can easily find that different type of content, so you can use what they call user-generated content. We always talked about why you should be making content such as ads or videos so that you can bring people into your inner circle, but once they're into your inner circle, you can use user-generated content to be able to show some sort of credibility or show why, hey, like I'm gonna lend their influence to actually try to get more people within our circle. So the most important part is that you can actually be a part of the bigger conversation. Remember, there's 3.5 billion people using social media. So there are a ton of people who are having all these different conversations, and using hashtags is the best way for you to find your way within that mix. And that is one of the bigger reasons why you should be using hashtags and not hashtag abusing those. That wraps things up for this video for this week, where we talked about why it's so important for you to grow your presence on social media. If you love this episode, because I know you did, right? We try so hard. You can actually show your support by actually liking, subscribing, or sharing this with anyone else so that you know that how they should be using social media to grow their presence. And if you want to learn more about the Open Media Agency, you can go to theopenmediaagency.com for more details. Again, thank you for your time. We'll catch you on the other side.